Well, good Sunday afternoon, everyone. Wanted to do an update video, look at the latest model data for the potential for some winter weather, especially more of an ice and freezing rain event Sunday evening, later today, into especially Monday morning and into a lot of Monday for maybe North Texas and points northward in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and maybe even into the Midwest a little bit. So this is the latest update from the Fort Worth National Weather Service office. Again, probably not as much of a threat here for Dallas-Fort Worth and points I-20 and southward. Still looks like along the Red River we could see some freezing rain and ice accumulations, especially on those elevated surfaces like those bridges and overpasses. So if you're going to be traveling tonight or tomorrow morning especially, definitely be careful on those elevated surfaces. But it looks like the Metroplex here across North Texas, we may escape kind of the worst of this. We can't rule it out 100% just yet, but it looks like temperatures may be just warm enough and above freezing that we may avoid that. So let's look at the kind of what some of the model data is showing. And what I wanted to do is look at two different models, our HRRR model and our North American model. Those are showing a little bit of two different outcomes, especially with the temperature, and that's going to play a big role in, is it a cold rain or is it freezing rain, sleet, ice, those types of factors. And so right here, what we're looking at is our North American model. And this is showing, again, right now, right about where we are right now. So 21Z, about 3:30 Sunday afternoon. And what I want us to focus on here are these temperatures around Dallas-Fort Worth right now. So we've got the model showing anywhere from about 34 to 35 degrees on this particular model. Now, when we compare that with the HRRR model, and let me scroll down, same yellow box here, Dallas-Fort Worth, those same temperatures, it's now showing anywhere from 38 to 39, almost low 40s southwest of the Metroplex. Now, that may not seem like a big difference, but in reality, that, 3 to 4 degree difference is impactful because this is what the model was showing from a couple hours ago of what the temperature would be right now. So again, the HRRR model is showing 38 to 39 degrees across DFW. When we look at our actual observed temperatures currently, let me change where our yellow box is here. This would be kind of our Dallas-Fort Worth area right here. And again, we're looking at 39 to maybe even 37 degrees. But again, we're looking at upper 30s here that was close to what the HRRR model was showing rather than those much cooler temperatures that we were seeing on the North American model here. Again, this is almost mid to low 30s, and we're definitely 2 to 3 to 4 degrees warmer than that. So I think our North American model is probably not handling this super well. And the main reason that I wanted to point that out is if we look at our projected freezing rain accumulation that this model is showing over the course of the next 24 hours, we can see that it's really, really bullish on this setup. And there are some pretty significant accumulations here. Let me scroll back forward here. If we look at some of these totals, especially across North Texas, showing almost a quarter of an inch of ice accumulation here across DFW, and even a little bit closer to half an inch across Northeast Texas, Southeastern Oklahoma, Northwest Arkansas. These are certainly totals that, again, it's basing it off of a colder starting temperature. Whereas, again, in reality, we're going to be warmer than this model is showing. And when we look at this same thing on the HRRR model, that, again, was a little bit more realistic with where our temperatures are going to be starting, and we look at that freezing rain total, let's move forward in time here overnight. See, what we can see is that it really only focuses here across Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and Eastern Oklahoma, and not even a hint of freezing rain across North Texas. And that's because these temperatures are just warm enough to where it's going to be a cold rain here rather than cold enough for those freezing temperatures. So I think that that's what we're seeing is a big difference between the two models. And I think that the HRRR model right now is actually closer to reality, which means I think that the freezing rain threat, the ice threat across North Texas and DFW, apart from maybe along the Red River, is probably much more realistic. So we may avoid the worst of those impacts here in DFW Sunday night and into Monday, but certainly still a pretty big threat for kind of northwestern Arkansas, a lot of southern Missouri, east and northeast Oklahoma, they're certainly going to have those temperatures be just cold enough to get that freezing rain and that significant impact. So thought it was a little bit interesting looking at these two different models and kind of what they're showing. And again, when we look at the HRRR model, if we just go to our simulated radar here and kind of what that's going to look like and move forward in time, we can see that it's going to be certainly an event where there's lots of precipitation. And so this is showing, again, this would be around 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, so Monday morning. Lots of rain, precipitation, definitely not great for our commute in Dallas-Fort Worth. But again, probably a cold rain rather than some sort of an ice event or anything like that, like we're going to see likely here in Arkansas. An example of this, if we look in Northwest Arkansas, let's look at what the temperature is projected on the model. So the red 29 degrees, that's showing a 29 degree ground temperature. So this would be cold enough, obviously below freezing there in Arkansas. Rather, if we wait and we look at the Dallas-Fort Worth area, now let me move our circle here. Again, this is showing about a 37 degree temperature. So again, above freezing. So that's why it's going to be a cold rain tomorrow. Definitely going to see rain. There's actually a potential for some flash flooding here over the coming days. So did want to take a look at that as well. If we look at our heavy rainfall that's projected, especially in North Texas, areas east, southeast of DFW could see 3 to 4 inches over the next couple days. Dallas-Fort Worth, probably a good 2 inches is a pretty good bet, and maybe a little bit less off to the west. But nonetheless, we're going to see a lot of moisture, going to be definitely some much needed rainfall, but it just doesn't appear like we're going to see any major ice storm or anything like that here in North Texas, probably more so for those points to the north. So hope everybody's having a great weekend and you have a good rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you back here for the next video.